Have you ever heard of a throne so cursed, so hungry for power, that it consumed every heir who dared sit upon it? This is not a legend, not a myth whispered in taverns or scratched into the walls of crumbling fortresses. This is history, buried deep beneath the dust of forgotten archives and royal propaganda. A dynasty cloaked in glory, yet corroded from within by treachery, madness, and blood. Tonight, we travel to a kingdom that once stood at the crossroads of empires, a place where ambition eclipsed reason, and the throne itself became an executioner. This is the true story of a royal seat that devoured its own legacy, a seat of power that ended more bloodlines than it continued. Welcome to the court of betrayal. It began with a king, brilliant, charismatic, and ruthless. He forged a golden empire from the ashes of fractured tribes. His people called him savior. His enemies called him butcher. But history would remember him as the first Fong of the throne. He named his empire the House of the Seven Suns, and like the celestial bodies above, he believed his rule would burn eternally. But he had a weakness, the obsession with legacy. He bore 7 sons from 7 wives, and decreed that only the one most worthy, most feared, could claim the throne. He called it a test of strength, but it was a game designed to destroy. One by one, the sons turned against each other. Poisoned wine, slit throats, hunts that turned into ambushes. The palace grounds became a theater of fratricide. By the time the king died, only one son remained. Prince Vorin, clever, patient, and unscarred, but not innocent. He ascended the throne with no joy. The crown weighed heavily, slick with the blood of his brothers. Some whispered that Vorin had orchestrated every death, moving unseen like a shadow behind the candlelight. But his reign was short-lived. Within 3 years he vanished. No body, no witnesses, no heir. Some claimed he had gone mad, speaking to statues and mirrors before disappearing into the catacombs. Others said he had been dragged into the throne room one last time, and never came out. The court panicked. With no heir, the power vacuum invited vultures. Generals, concubines, scholars, and priests all vied for control. But the throne, cold, silent, and ancient, waited. A cousin of Vorin eventually claimed it, a child named Alessa, just 16. She was brilliant and naive, believing she could restore the house to glory. She lasted 93 days. Poison, or so they said. But her body was never cold. Witnesses said her flesh darkened, her lips turned to ash, and her eyes bled black before she collapsed, clutching the throne's armrests. Some say it was a curse. Others whisper it was the throne itself, that deep within the ancient stone seat, sealed by blood rites long forgotten, pulsed something old and unspeakable, something that demanded suffering in exchange for power. Over the next century, 14 heirs sat upon the throne. None died naturally. One stabbed himself mid-coronation. Another gouged out his own eyes and wandered into the sea. One queen ruled for a single day before being set aflame in her own bedchamber. The records become hazy. Dates are crossed out. Names are rewritten or erased. Paintings are defaced. Bloodlines vanish without explanation. But a pattern emerges. No ruler lasts beyond a year. Each reign is marked by increasing paranoia, cruelty, and descent into madness. The people begin to speak of the Devouring Throne. A living entity, they say, birthed by ancient sins, fed by blood, sated only by despair. And still they come. Ambitious nobles, priests claiming divine right, generals returning from war, each believing they can master the throne's hunger, each believing they are different, each consumed. There is one account, buried in the private journal of a royal scribe, who served under 4 monarchs before disappearing himself. He writes of the throne whispering, not with words but with thoughts, intrusions, dreams, visions of endless halls filled with bones, of faces that do not blink, of children laughing without mouths. He writes, I have seen the truth. The throne is not made of stone. It is made of memory, of sacrifice, of every sin we bury under gold and banners. It does not grant power, it demands penance. One final entry reads, "The next ruler will not be human. I can feel it. Something is coming through." Then silence. Eventually, the kingdom collapsed not from invasion but from within. A rebellion formed not to seize power, but to destroy it. They stormed the palace, tore down tapestries, shattered relics, and finally reached the throne room. What they found was not a ruler, just the throne, alone, untouched, waiting. They tried to destroy it, burn it, break it, bury it. Nothing worked, so they sealed it away beneath the earth, entombed in a crypt of black salt and silver, guarded by 100 soldiers who took a vow of silence. And yet, even now, even in silence, the throne waits. There are rumors, of course, whispers among secret societies, that the throne has been moved, that powerful men and women still sit upon it in secret, far from the eyes of the world, that every major war, every unexplained betrayal, every rise and fall of empires can be traced back to its influence. Maybe the throne never left. Maybe it sits beneath your feet, under the foundation of a modern palace or a gleaming skyscraper. Or maybe it's already chosen its next heir. Because power, real ancient power, doesn't just disappear. It hungers, and history has a way of repeating itself, even when we bury it, especially when we bury it